right, welcome to Pass the Mic for Friday, October 28th. This is episode 47. Zoom again, might be our last Zoom for a while because cross country is about over. Mike Piotti here, joining me on Zoom, Mr. Michael Gervasi.
Yeah, back from Compton again. Yo, it's either that or the Federal Pin. Who's that?
Easy Eric Wright.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yes, that's me, my guess.
You're right. You got it.
I got it. I am an Easy E fan.
That was not planned. Well, actually, to be honest with you, that was actually Eazy's part in an NWA song, 100 Miles and Running. I'm sure Mr. Todd Bailey do that one. But
I think we talked about the first CD I ever purchased. I think we may have mentioned it on here. It was straight out, was NWA.
Which one?
Straight out of Compton. Yeah, it's at the little record store up by Vreeland Market. I don't even know what it was called. It probably cost like $18. It was when they sold them in the tall boxes. Do you remember how that's when CDs first came out?
Yeah.
And they didn't. And thankfully, Tipper Gore didn't prevent me from buying it.
I know. Was that before? No. Well, it could have been. Was that before Two Live Crew got arrested?
I can't believe Tipper Gore made Pass the Mic podcast.
Tipper Gore, yeah. Who knew?
How much the parties have changed since that time. As I get books that are being wanted to be banned. So
yeah, too soon.
Okay. So first of all, today we are recording nothing like last minute. It's dark. It's Thursday, the night before our release date. So, but again, like I said, next week we open up. We'll be back in the studio a lot. But Jaden's movie that we plugged last week came out live this evening. I put the link up. It's on our Facebook page. So 8 Count is there. It's a short film on YouTube. So be sure to check it out. I think I haven't had a chance to watch it. I plan to watch it, I think, this weekend when I have some time just to get into it. I don't want to sort of like half get into it. I want to be able to sit and just watch it for a while. So shout out to him.
What if we do it at the Michigan game, halftime?
Halftime? We might be leaving at halftime. The way this game is probably going to go. But a big shout. We got a lot of positive feedback about Jaden. He seemed to come across as a great guest. His mom reached out to us via work email, which I thought was pretty cool. A lot of his classmates brought up stuff, but he's a great guest and very well spoken, and I'm excited for him. So as Pass the Mic listeners, we'll ask you to do us a favor, go give him some views. And see, he put a lot of passion and a lot of time into it, as we said. It's hard to believe the discussion we had last week about how much time actually goes into a 30-minute movie.
Right.
I think we sort of take for granted. You think it's like just some fool out there with a camera filming on their phone, and that's far from it, So also the Ren Dog immediately got on me for botching the Steelers.
Yeah,
I wasn't wrong with the Steelers pick. They didn't do me wrong because they didn't even play Philadelphia until this Sunday. So I'll stick by that. I'm going to stick by that. They're going to beat the Eagles. They almost came back and beat the Dolphins.
Right. It looked like the Dolphins were going to just demolish them the first couple of drives there, and then the game settled in. They almost won the game. They made it. I
actually tweeted that I'm going to bed. This game's miserable, and then not another point was scored. So I guess it was good that I went to bed because that whole second half, nothing happened. Did you get any feedback or corrections from anybody?
No, everything was about Jaden. And Antoine came out with us. We went out last Friday night, and
that was in my notes as well. I got to spend some time, a little more time than just a few minutes at the track meet. Great guy. Got to meet my dad, who happened to be at Joe's Prime Time. As we were enjoying some family-friendly beverages. It was a nice night out, and he seemed to enjoy himself down here at Joe's Prime Time.
He did. He's great guy. I didn't realize we don't see each other enough anymore. He moved. He lived right by Joe's before that, and he just moved into a house in Flat Rock about a month ago. So it was really cool seeing him. Now, I didn't realize, I don't know if you caught this, and I think you did. There's some jealousy / animosity between him and another one of our loyal listeners, the Pates, or another family.
Yeah, he feels that they're mentioned a little too often. We might have to have like a track. We have our mic wall we update. Maybe we have to go back and listen to how many times each has been mentioned in an episode.
Yeah, but but he loved the episode, so that was cool. He said we bounced back. He didn't like the episode before. Speaking
of your Taylor friends, I got to give you a little Taylor story today. We were at Taylor High School, which is Truman High School for people that aren't up to date with things. Eventually, Taylor High School is going to be at the location of your old stomping grounds, Kennedy. I found out today that next year's freshman class, according to the people there, next year's freshman class at Taylor High School will graduate at the new building. That's how far out. That's what I heard. But there's a fire drill there. So we were there for the student council Downriver League meeting where you can take a few kids from each school and you have a meeting. And Taylor did a great job. Todd Skopczynski's wife, the principal, great job. Well, as we walked in, the advisor informed us there's a fire drill today and they're not changing it. So as anyone knows, when the fire alarm goes off, everyone has to leave a building, whether you're doing a thing with other students or whatever. So we're going out, and this alarm that was going off, it sounded like a World War II bomb siren. I've never heard anything like this. Even my kid said it. Well, one of our students that was with us, Mr. Pate's daughter, Ariana, made a comment about the alarm as we were walking out, and a Taylor kid turned to her and said, "Welcome to Taylor." And that was the comment that was made. And I was like, make sure you tell your dad about that one, that was a comment that you got. So again, I don't know, it got us all out of the building. So it's my week for Mike of the Week, and I'm going to do this is our first ever I don't know if it's a request, but sort of like a suggestion for the Mike of the Week. But I'm going along, and this was one I sort of wanted to do eventually anyway. But I'm going to go with this because it was the Ren Dog as well. He said because it is the season of giving, the season of Halloween. My Mike, famous for his 1978 character, the great Michael Myers. Mike Myers, not Mike Myers the actor. Michael Myers, 6 years old, killed his sister fictitiously, and then spent the rest of his life via 9 different actors trying to kill his babysitter.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You've never seen any of these?
No, you know me.
You've never watched any of the Halloweens?
Nope.
The original one is a great film, and there's actually some good behind the scenes stuff about how cheaply made the movie was, and that one's not even that gory. You can watch the first one; it wouldn't be that bad. But Michael Myers is our been on the big screen since '78, and I guess in this last one, which I haven't seen yet, I think it's his final one. I think that's supposed to be it, supposedly. So Michael Myers with the William Shatner mask is going up on the big board. Sorry, don't mean to scare you.
No,
you gotta watch. You gotta watch the original.
I see, but Mike, even tonight I watched. I came home. It was a nice day outside. Actually, it's a good day to have fire drill. But came home after watching Melina's cross country meet invitational. It was pretty cool out in Macomb, and I was just kicking back, eating some dinner here, and was watching American Gangster. And there's a scene where Denzel, very graphic scene, he shoots a guy in the head, and man,
not family friendly.
No, I'm still like struggling with that scene right now.
I honestly think watching Halloween, you will not be that grossed out. It's not gory at all. The original, 1978. Trust me. I think if legend has it, there's not a drop of blood in the movie.
I need the listeners to, but even the thought of it, listeners, if anybody is like me, have you seen any of the Halloweens? Can I handle the first one? We'll see what they say. I'm guessing no.
I excuse the sound effects that are coming in. Someone has decided to send something to the wireless printer. I'm going to guess it wasn't Nate doing homework. I'm going to guess it's my wife probably printing a shipping slip of some sort, but that is what the background is there. I have the joys of modern technology. So if it's not the landline, it's the wireless printer here. So again, Ren Dog, Mike Myers, that's a shout out to you. I know you did your movie review. Maybe we'll link to his movie review that somehow had these scary red lights in the background that right after the theater, did a really good job with them. I love the Ren Dog movie. All right, education topic this week, because we're back to doing our normal stuff. Education topic is, so we've talked about this before about like how far our retirement is down the road. And I think we could both safely say we're in the last third of our career, right? No matter what you think. I mean, when you say last half, at least last
definitely
third.
Last half, probably last third, yes.
Yeah, so we're talking like anywhere from 5 to 15 years maximum, right? When you say 5 on the low end, 15 years on the high end, right?
Yeah.
When you say
yes,
hopefully, God bless. So I want to say, what changes do you see coming for better or for worse? What are the winds you see of change, or what do you think is going to be different from what we've had in the previous? Because again, I'm in year 25 right now. You're in year what again? I know you asked this multiple episodes.
Not officially 18, 19, but I've been 20.
Okay, so we've both been almost 20. We're over 20, just basically. Sure. And most careers are, the pension rule is 30 years. I mean, so we're in the last third when you look at it either way. So what do you see as different in this last third of your career? What changes do you see coming, whether it be good or bad, or maybe one of each, however you want to do it?
Well, so okay, COVID really has me rethinking. I mentioned an author last week, Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote a book, A History of the Future, which talked about what education could be down the road, much more technologically based. And he suggested in this book, and again, this is pre-COVID, that robots could actually be teaching classes. And he mentioned why in the book, and it was really interesting. If a teacher if I ask a class, do you understand this? Are there any questions? 9 times out of 10, there's nothing. You know what I mean? You get
Bueller, yeah.
Yes. And obviously we know, having taught in the classroom, we know there has to be questions. So what Noah Harari suggested in the book is that a robot doesn't need to ask because it could just look at your face and through algorithms and whatever else could see if there's confusion and individually craft a given lesson so that student sitting wherever will understand it better. And I thought that was a very interesting way of looking down the road. Obviously, it's a personal, which is where I'm going next, but I thought that was an interesting way of looking at the potential of the future. Obviously, I wouldn't be working if that's the case, if that happened, but it was just an interesting read. And then I think COVID hit, and I think we learned that we need that, kids need that personal connection, and teaching even via Zoom, even though there was you're person to person, it's certainly not the same. So I'm going to be honest, Mike, I had a conversation with my class, a couple of students, Kobe, who you got to meet the other day a little bit. And, we were sort of up in the air on this one. And the entire class kind of came in and discussed this, and we're not sure anymore. I'm, you're asking the question, what is education going to look like? I'm suggesting to you what I read could be the case, but COVID may have changed that. And maybe we go back a little bit to, the more brick and mortar type approach where it's less technologically based and more hands-on between us and them. I don't know.
That's some good feedback. I think, like we said, when you mentioned COVID, I think what COVID sort of taught us, because there was some talk of going of like, hey, we can do this thing with like one-to-one, and like once we get everyone to one-to-one, like who, could we have rooms with like 60 people in it with one instructor, and I think what we found with COVID is that no, that doesn't work. And we're seeing the data now of the scores of what happened. And again, the thing that I want to stress, and I know this was brought up at the governor's debate the other night, everyone missed those sort of last 3 months of school. We were back the following fall, 4 or 5 days a week. So
I hope my friend Travis is listening to that, because he didn't believe me, but go on.
Yeah, so we were in school full time. I mean, we missed, like everyone did. Everything was shut. I think every state, red state, blue state, shut down from March to June. But then we opened right back up in September, 4 days a week, in-person school for the kids that wanted it. But I think what we all learned through that struggle is that this world where you can put people on a screen to instruct, especially, and I get there's college classes have been online for a while, like before COVID. I took some online classes. It's not designed for the masses. It's not designed for the masses of kids. It's not designed for the kids that need experience with the extracurriculars and the arts, the special education students that need it, the elementary kids it's not designed for. Most parents don't. And again, most parents don't want to have to deal with that as well. So that, to me, again, I don't see this world coming of where, hey, we're going to have, virtual learning all the time, and this is the solution. Is it the solution for a niche group of kids here and there? Yeah, yes, it is.
Potentially,
by all means. That's what I do see. Are much more, and we're already seeing it now, but compared to 10 years ago, the opportunities and options and the flexibility in curriculum for kids is crazy. And COVID fast forwarded that by 100, because it used to be, now you have kids that can have 2 hours here, 3 hours there, a college class here. It used to be just you either voc or you were in school for 6 hours, right? And that was it. Well, now there's a lot more flexibility, which I think is a good thing. I think, and again, here's the other good thing I see us going to, and what COVID also was a positive from it. It's killing the College Board and the SAT. And again, one of my favorite things to jump on, and we're even see it in our building. The pressure for us about SAT scores is nowhere near what it was 5 years ago. There's this acceptance of saying, hey, we might have a population that is going into auto maintenance or health doc and this and that. And the SAT, that's not their focus. And that I am so relieved for that. And the truth of the matter is, and if anyone wants to tell me differently, the universities don't even need it as much anymore. They've basically come out and said it.
Although there was kind of briefly anyway, there was a suggestion the pendulum was swinging back, but it seems like you're right. It has swung back again.
They're more concerned with what kids have done and interacted and what they're, if anything, based upon my daughter's admissions in the last year at U of M Ann Arbor, which is one of the most prestigious schools in the country, definitely in the state, they were more interested in, hey, what were some of the things you did in your community? What are some things that you've done as a leadership role? Yes, we can look at your grade point and your transcripts and this and that. And the test score wasn't the deal breaker. Now, obviously, you need to have somewhat of a good education and a good grade point to get in. But I love that is not the number one factor for many more schools nowadays. And so the other change I see coming, and so that's my positive one, is that the options, I think those options are only going to increase for students. The options, like we see too, like we have this middle college now, right, where you can go a 13th year and end up with an associate's. Again, all great things. Because I'm always got to be a little negative, I guess. My negative, and it goes back to, and maybe it's my union president had, the numbers of people going into it. I don't know where this ends up going, and we've talked about this in previous episodes. And I love people that are maybe going back and getting emergency certs. Mr. Hadi Ansari, our good buddy, ended up getting a job in a charter school, right? This is out now known, and he's going back, I think, for an emergency cert, which I'm totally fine with. Different ways they want to do it, but that just shows what we're in. And I really have a fear, not for who's going to teach my kids, because my son's a sophomore and he's going to be done, and I'm confident the people that are here. I have concerns for who will be teaching my grandkids in the next generation, because the people I work with now are amazing. Even our newest people that are young are amazing. They do a great job. But the problem is there are not the bodies there to fill it.
And where are you going to find them? What are you going to do to attract people? We had that episode last year with Evie.
And there's young people now that are like, they're tempted to go look elsewhere anyway. So that's my big fear. Who are going to teach my grandkids? So will the pendulum shift? And it's not, we've said this before, and again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. It's not 100% money. If anything, it's more all of the stuff thrown on our shoulders and backs, and all of the scrutiny over what has been going on. When I'm going to tell you right now, just like we talk about these other professions, 97% of us do a good job. Our number one concern is the kids. It's not ourself. It's not our pension. It's not our retirement. It's not summers off. It's the reason we got into this was to help kids. I was talking to one of our special ed teachers the other day. I saw something in the cafeteria that caught my eye. I went and talked to her to try to help this person out that really wasn't even one person on my thing. Those are the things that why I got an education. And again, I just worry. And again, I'm not saying the young people going into it right now aren't any good. I'm just worried statistically the numbers behind us and the solutions being offered aren't plausible. So hopefully, maybe right by the time we retire, everything's great.
I mean, they've had these issues before. It's never been to this extent. When I got into it, there was a number of people applying for every job, so it certainly changed. But hopefully the pendulum swings back on this one, because we need it. And you're right, for our grandkids' sake, we need good people in this field for sure.
Yes, and public schools are a value. And again, that's why I vote yes on every bond. And even after I retire and after my son graduates, I will vote yes on every bond issue, because a strong public school system is the best thing for your real estate and community anyway. You want to have that pride in that system. And then we'll go full circle. And that's why I'm very happy about your old home stomping grounds at Taylor. They're going to have probably the premier high school in the Downriver League in about 3 or 4 years when they build that new center, and will be the newest high school downriver.
Yeah, and then everybody else is going to compete with Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor. Everything comes full circle. So there you go. We'd love to hear what people think inside of education or outside. We also want to always give a shout out to all of our families and parents that support us in what we do. So overrated, underrated this week. We started and passed the mic around about a year ago at this time, because our overrated, underrated stuff was like horror movies and Halloween candy. So because we decided to start right as my cross country season was ending. My last meets this coming Saturday. So we figured we'll go back to that a little bit, but we didn't do this one. We're going to do overrated, underrated, trick or treating. All right. So overrated, underrated. What do you got for overrated for trick or treating?
This one was easy. You know what it is? It's the scare tactics every year. This year, what is it? Fentanyl that drug dealers.
Oh, yes. Razor blades when we were kids.
Razor blades when we were kids.
Razor blades or
drug
pins.
dealers are not trying to make money anymore. They're just trying to give away the fentanyl, and they're putting it in the kids' candy. So to me, it's
that's what it is this year. Yeah, razor blades are pretty expensive now too. So I don't even think people would want to. I mean, they're expensive. I mean, everything is. So candy's expensive. So really, these people, if they're you have that much money, you're going to give away stuff and then add stuff to it. I mean, I just went and bought my candy. It was ridiculous.
I mean, and Mike, it's been this way forever with us. Again, it was razor blades. I remember the rumor
pins, sewing pins.
Now it's fentanyl, and the fentanyl one again. That's the one that gets me the most, because you want to make money if you're a drug dealer.
Edibles, like people are getting rid of their edibles too. Again, this is a family-friendly show, but anyone that takes part in that stuff, they're probably not giving away their edibles. You're right. This is a great overrated bit. I didn't even think of this one. This is a great one. You ready for mine? Trunk or treats. Put up or shut up. Stop with all this extra stuff in some parking lot, decorating your car. Go out on Halloween. That's good enough. And again, these are probably the same people that are worried about it being dangerous And so they think these parking lots are safe. I don't get it. Like you only, first of all, there's tons of candy on Halloween. I don't know how many different things you can go to. And
Yeah.
unless you're going to the trunk or treats to get the candy you're going to give away, I guess that might be the smart way. But I don't understand why we went away from back in my day, not to sound like get off my lawn guy.
Oh,
Halloween was Halloween. We went
That was
around the
it.
subdivision. My dad didn't take me to some parking lot and like decorate his Caprice Classic, you know, like we just you know, like it is what it is. And I don't like they're advertised like these are safe as if the neighborhoods aren't safe. Listen, man, just Halloween's fine. We don't need to have 4 nights of trick-or-treating in a random parking lot. You know, and if you're that afraid of what's out, and again, we searched stuff. We've had to search stuff because Nate has a peanut allergy. So, you know, but I mean, we didn't remember back in the day too, when the razor blades sort of, they actually had like, oh, you can bring your candy here and we'll x-ray it.
Oh my God.
That was like on the news. That was like, I remember seeing that on the news. Like they would put it through like,
oh my God.
My heart goes out to anybody that like actually were the person that actually bit on the York peppermint patty that had a blade in it. But that's my overrated trunk or treats. Let's just stick with regular Halloween. Again, not bad. I get it. If you're a church group or, you know, like I know the schools do it and it's nice. It's a nice activity to put on for people, but let's just keep it real with trick or treating. So what's your underrated?
You know what? I just, and maybe it's because growing up in Taylor, we never did this, but I never knew how fun it was to get together with the neighbors that night as an adult. Have a few adult beverages, you know, just family friendly. So, but you know, it was all.
It's a Monday night, so definitely make sure it's a few.
Yes,
just
yes,
a few.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, man, it was something I never really encountered. I never noticed it. So I think it's really neat now that this happened. So that's my underrated. The adults that get together and have a good time with this night too.
My underrated is I'm always as long as we've done trick or treating, even with I'm always the candy passer outer, and sometimes I'll go to my neighbors and we'll just turn our lights off and say, hey, we're two here. But to me, it's always like I love seeing the kids dressed up, especially the younger kids, the ones that, you know, it's like, you know, I don't mind. I'm not like Larry David and not give candy out to people if they're not dressed up. I'm not dying on the hill, but the really cute and unique costumes, the ones that are really like unique, like that are homemade or stuff like that. And the people that have their dogs with them too. And if the dogs are dressed up, that's a big bonus too. I like, that's my underrated part is taking in all the costumes.
Do you give more candy to those people? Especially
the ones that are really cool and unique, or like real little tiny kids that come up and can barely say trick or treat. Yeah, I always give them way more than like some doofus middle schooler that has like a, you know, beard painted on. I'll still give them candy. I'm not going to die on the hill of, if you're out there walking in the cold and you have like, you know, a backwards baseball hat and a football jersey. I'm not, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the Curb Your Enthusiasm clip, Larry David trick or treat.
What do you give him, like one Smartie for that kid?
He didn't give him anything. He shut the door and then his whole house got vandalized.
No, I'm saying you.
Oh, I don't know. We're, you know, that, no, I'll give him a couple, but like the real, you know, my wife used to go all out and make these like little bags, and she told me these are reserved for people we know and any of the cute costumes, like the really good costumes. So that's my underrated. And the dogs. Don't forget the dogs. People that walk their dogs, they have like a costume on. So I think that's an underrated part of Halloween. So, all right, you got a hot mic take for us as we enter our last episode of October?
Yeah, so I need the listeners' advice again.
Man, you're getting close up here, man. Like this is.
Sorry. I was trying to get myself a little more comfortable and my back is hurting a little bit. So, you know, the last 4 or 5 days, I've witnessed a Lions loss, 3 Pistons losses, and I'm just wondering, you know, especially watching, you know, Eagles commercials on TV right now. Bryce Harper hit that magical home run for the Phillies. We're not getting that in this area at all. We're nowhere near. We're still nowhere near. Do I just need a break from these teams? Would I be better off? Would it be better for my health to just not watch for a little while? And I've never done this. You know, any listener to the show knows at this point how big of a Piston fan I am. I'm a Lions fan. Tigers kind of broke my heart. And I'm not a hockey fan per se. I love our hockey team doing well, just like any other team. And I think they're doing pretty well so far. It's early, but I mean, am I better off just not watching for a little while and just going to the Apple Orchard or turning on, you know, Unsolved Mysteries, new episodes? What do I do?
Well, you have other things. You're in a fantasy league, so like you can watch other games for that. Like me with the Steelers, like I said, I went to bed at halftime. Sometimes it's just okay. Now, granted, I'm a little spoiled because they've been successful, but and maybe that I just reached a point of acceptance and say, I don't get angry about it. I said, this team is not good. Okay. And that's what I tell myself.
And it's a game I have zero control over. But again, you just said it though. Like the Steelers have had in their adult life.
They have, but you know, it's just, I just find it like, I think sometimes people like die on hills of having to cheer on a team and like, no matter what, they think they're good. And then sometimes, to me, I just find it very simple to say this team's not that good. And that's what I say and do. And then I go to bed peacefully. And when I wake up the next morning, if they win, it's a nice surprise. If they lost, I'm like, I'll say again, they're not that good. Now, unfortunately, right, there's been no excitement, but you know, and again, like I said, looks like we're gonna be able to take advantage of it. We'll finally get to go to that cheap Pistons game because they're probably not gonna be that good from the looks of things either. So
yeah, I'm just
I don't know. I just would not let this beat this up. Like I said in the previous episode, let's go to a concert. You know you're gonna get a positive outcome from that.
Fair.
All right, my hot mic take, and I sort of hinted at this to you earlier in the week when we were talking overrated, underrated. I decided to save it for my hot mic take. Hot mic take. If you put out a whole bowl of candy on your porch, on a little table, whatever you do, if that's how you're going to do it, if you're like, I'm going to a friend's house, I'm going to go to a party, you have given up every right to complain about kid number one taking that whole bowl and dumping it into his bag. I think this happened last year in a neighborhood sub. They put pictures of the kid on Facebook on a group page.
No way.
Yeah, I think I remember. This is what brought my memory up to this. I was 100% pro kid on this, not pro people that own the house.
Did you comment on the Facebook post?
No, because I'm not dying on this hill. These people don't need to know my opinion. Now they'll know it. Okay, because here's my opinion. If you are these bowl people, what's it matter to you? What does it matter to you? The bowl is done. You don't need it anymore. And if kid number one is that creative and if he's that up early and at it, that's good for him. He's not taking it from other kids. Again, kids that go and steal bags out of people's hands and that sort of thing, I have a problem with. I don't understand. Why would you get angry? Like, whatever, it's gone. It's gone. Like, and so that's my thing this Halloween. If you do that, and that's fine, I have no problem with it. I will be passing out the candy. I'm not putting the bowl on the porch. I'll be handing it out. If you do the bowl and say, take one, and then go off and then get all upset and have your camera on, do not share that camera footage to that kid. Do not do anything. You made your bed, you sleep in it. That kid has every right to do that. And if anyone disagrees with me out there, I don't know what to tell you. Stay and hand it out yourself then. If it's that big of a deal to you that everyone has to be treated fairly, then either hand it out or don't hand them out at all. Like I don't get it. I don't understand.
I'm hoping for a little pass the mic debate on this one on our Facebook.
I'm sure there's going to be some people that are angry, and I'm sure there's people that listen that know because they live in this sub that remember this, that will confirm what I'm saying. And again, I don't think it's a big deal. Good for that kid, smart kid. Like in this era of cameras, you're going to get caught, but you didn't do anything wrong. Take one. Take one what? Take one little mini Twix bar, like one side of a Twix.
Let me ask you this then: when you leave the restaurant and there's a please take one, there's a mint, do you take more than one?
I don't even like really mint, so I don't take any. I mean, does it say please take one? I don't even know. Take one.
Because I remember I had a friend, actually in our district now with his kids. He said, "Please take 100." It said, "Please take one." I think it was actually the movie theater. He just stuck his hand and grabbed a bunch. So
listen, if it's out there, you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. That's just my own personal thing. My hot mic take. And I also want to say, speaking of hot mic take, Tom Pack, I got hit by 2 tree branches this morning on my 5:30 walk. With the leaves off the trees, it's even more dangerous. Going back to
you and Tom, a couple of Karens on this issue. You guys are going back and forth complaining.
I just thought of that as I was sitting here because I got smacked in the face this morning, and there's nothing I can do with no leaves. So, all right, so we are going. Let's do Michigan State this week because we are going to the game. This is my first Michigan game ever in the big house. I've been to East Lansing. We have tickets. We're going to be in the house. Maybe we have to take some pass the mic photos. I hear there's a lot of GSD people heading up there too. So that's what my sources tell me. So we already know who's going to win. So we don't need to discuss that. I want to know, does Michigan State even keep it close within like 10 points?
Not within 10. I'm gonna say 38-17.
Is okay? Let me ask you this then: is it a game even at when we're going into the half and into the third quarter? Is it done by then? Like, is it?
No, I think it'll be a game at halftime. I think Michigan's gonna be up maybe 2 touchdowns.
See, I think Michigan's gonna be up 3 touchdowns going into the half. I think it's probably gonna be like maybe not a full 3, but maybe like 24-3 or something like. I just don't think Michigan State's going to move the ball at all. But like I said, I'm the state of Michigan man. I tweeted it again at Terry Foster, and I'm looking forward to it. It looks like we got lucky for late October. It looks like it's gonna be a beautiful day, 60, high of 60, low in the night, but cool. But it should be a good time. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the Lions are
lost. They play Miami.
Sheila, what's it? Sheila Ford. What's her married name?
Hemp. Something like that.
She came out and gave her the typical statement.
Yeah.
We're trying, and patience, stay the course.
We've
only been
hearing
this forever.
What was her words? It was not just a rebuild; it was a breakdown and rebuild. Something.
Oh yes, because the Giants and Jets had such a great roster 2 years ago.
Right, last year.
People here just buy it, man. They buy into it. So who are they? I don't even know who they're playing. I know the Steelers are playing the Eagles this week.
No, they're playing Miami.
Yeah. Listen, they're beatable. The
NFL, everybody's beatable, and that's what makes it that much more remarkable that the Lions have not done it. It's incredible. So it's another loss. Without question, they're going to lose.
Well, we want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Go check out 8 Count, Jaden's film that is on our page.
Hey, real quick, let's give a shout out to the Carlson football team in the playoffs. Beat Woodhaven, division co-division champs, I guess.
League champs.
Anybody would know who the best team is. Coach Gendron really took this team new heights this year.
Yeah, what a great season! Really, a no doubt win over Woodhaven.
No doubt win.
It was a gutsy 4th and 1 call from our own 10-yard line. Holy cow!
Yeah. But
he needs to tell Dan Campbell how to do it.
Right. And it's great that Gendron, that coaching staff, all those guys have taken us to places frankly, I don't remember us being this good ever.
Yeah, this is team from top to bottom and well-rounded team. They played their best game too against Woodhaven, and we're home tomorrow night, or tonight if you're listening to this, Friday, against Huron. Old Huron League throwback, and our seating is actually pretty nicely in the district, right through the region. So check that out. You got to buy your tickets online, no passes. So if you're coming out to Marauder State, it looks like a beautiful night Friday and 2 for football. So the new scoreboard is in, but not wired. So you can take a look at it. It looks nice on the south end, but it will not light up. So,
right.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for everybody for joining us. We're going to be back in studio. That's my prediction next week, right? We're going to be back in studio.
I think so.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.